Hello. So this is going to be my spider prop tutorial. So I want to kind of show what it looks like. This is the overhang to our house here. So I want to show kind of from the very beginning of the setup so you guys can kind of get an idea of as you walk in here. This is what the ceiling area looks like, and this area here is kind of the center, and then you move down like this and there's our front door. So again, backing up, this is going to be the area that I'm going to be setting up the spider prop. It's just a perfect setup for that. It's going to be really confining, and it's a great way for them to lead into our doorway. So I'm going to stop the video here, and then you'll be able to see as it progresses how I do the total setup, so everybody can understand how the whole premise again for this prop is for using one motor for running. I think I'm going to end up with over 20 lines coming off that one motor to run all the different spiders in the prop. So stay tuned. So here's the second installment of my tutorial on the spider web prop. So again, just going back to here's the overhang. Got some hooks up here. So this is really simple, right in the center. Here's the center of it. Up on the ceiling of my overhang is my motor assembly. I'm going to walk up the ladder here so you can get a better look at it. I've got my power or my speed controller at the very top, my motor, and then I want to show, and all this is right here is a, I learned this online from some other people. You use fishing lures to attach to the washer that goes around the arm from the motor, which is right there. So that way you can attach, like I said, I'm going to do about 20 of them. I've got 10 holes in here with the fishing lures, and then I'll just keep attaching strings to that. And the arm itself is about 8 inches, so I'm going to end up with about a 16-inch movement on my spiders. And again, just coming back down, it's in the center off the ceiling, and that's where I'm going to attach the motor. Okay, so like I said in my description, this is going to be part one, because I realized if I waited till I finished this thing completely, it's probably going to be about a week and a half, maybe 2 at the most, before Halloween. And if anybody was actually going to try to do this, that wouldn't give them enough time to actually build the prop. So this is really kind of the rough stage. This is just my first setup, and I'll be tuning it up and adjusting a bunch of other stuff. But I want to show you how, if somebody's actually going to try to do this, how this works. So for the beginning, right now, I'll back up a little bit so you can again see where we're at. This is again my overhang. I come in. There's actually going to be something in the very center of this. So this is the beginning of my web. I've got 3 spiders there, 3 spiders there, and then actually right above here I'm going to have one big one, and this will all be really closed in and stuff. But this is the best way for me to show you how it's all set up. So if you look up there, you will see that there is my connections I was talking about, and I've got a kind of a rubber gasket that I put around that between the washer, which gave me places to attach those fishing lures. I've got 8 of them on there, and you can see I've just doubled up some of the lines to each one. One thing I will point out, in case somebody does do this, is you're going to see each one has a separate line that goes down to each arm down here. And the reason for that is, one thing I learned the first time I did it was if you use just one line and then you come down and split it off to each of the legs, it spins and it starts and it gets all tightened up and stuff, so you have to keep them separate. So then the other thing you'll see is that the line I actually use is this right here, and it's really pretty heavy duty stuff, and I think I mentioned that in one of my videos before. The reason for that is, as you can see, it goes through multiple eye hooks right there, and I'll actually put a little bit of oil or grease on that, because what I found last year is, like I mentioned in another video, the friction of that going up and back and forth for about 3-4 hours actually broke a couple of the braids of this. And so then, as you see, they'll come down and they actually feed in. Easiest place is probably right here. See, it comes down, feeds in behind the webbing. I use just 3/16 clothesline rope, which place I found the cheapest was actually at Harbor Freight. They sell 100 feet for like $3.99, so I'll end up with probably about $60 of rope just for my spider webs. But it comes down with that, and then I switched to fishing line, 50-pound fishing line, and that's what it's attached to each one here. So this is fishing line going up, goes behind that piece, just a piece of rope somewhere, then goes up behind the spider web and feeds up to that thicker line in the back. And so right now I've got 12 lines you can see are actually attached, and again they feed up behind. It's all exactly the same thing. I'm going to have probably about 12 more by the time, because I'm also going to use this motor up here, the same place. I'm going to attach more eye hooks, and there'll be things that drop down from above. I've got these little pods and that kind of stuff. So I'll probably, like I said originally on this video, have 20 some things, and that's something I'm going to show when it's all complete. So again, I'm going to pause here, then turn it on, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I'm back and now it's on. And again, you can hear, the first thing I want to point out is, if you listen, so you can tell that, hopefully you can hear from that, that actually over here on the right side, there's a little bit more of a strain on the motor because it's lifting the arms a little bit more. And like I said in all my other videos, is the great thing about doing something like this is you can balance the pull on the motor. And the easy way to do that, like what I've done on each of these arms here that are going up and down, there's actually, I've got little lead weights that I bought at a fishing store that I attached to the tips of the arms. But then I realized you don't even need to do that, because what I'll do when I start finishing this prop is I will attach the legs to some of the webbing, and that will cause enough pull on it to pull the legs back down. Plus some of these will actually be lifting things along the way. And again, so if you can see, there's just, again, there's the fishing line. It's going up behind some of the rope, goes up the top. And again, this is all that's happening is this motor's just spinning around, and it's just pulling right now 12 different lines. And again, if you back up, you can see there's 3 of them there, and there's 3 of them there. Now, one last thing I'll say is, like this one here, you can see both legs are lifting at the same time, and it's because I've attached the lines up on the armature at the same point. And so I thought about, if I really wanted to go for it, you could actually make these legs lift at different times. But what that would entail is setting up another eye hook on the opposite side of where one of these legs is attached. So as you can hopefully understand, when one is being pulled up, the other one, since it's going to the opposite side and then coming back, is coming down. So you could make these actually lift separately if you want. But we looked at the video and we talked to a couple people, and there's so much stuff going on in here. By the time it's all set up, nobody really sees or even seems to notice that the legs are going up at the same time. What most of the kids see is that the things are moving, and that's plenty scary enough. So I'm going to stop here. Again, hopefully it explains some of the finer points of designing this. Again, like I said, you need to use some heavy-duty twine because you're going to be going through those eye hooks. And those eye hooks, here's another set right here, there we go, right there. It will actually break a couple of the braids of this line by the end of the night. Again, just from the friction. But once you get through the eye hooks and you kind of want to hide it better, that's where I switch back over to fishing line, which you can see right now. I kind of left it dangling so it's easy to see, but I'll clean all that up, and there'll be webbing over the arms, and you won't even be able to see the fishing line by the time it's all done. So again, that's it. If you got any questions, again, the main thing of all these videos I've been trying to show is that one motor runs multiple things. Right now I've got 12 lines coming. I'll have, getting the other spider in, I'll have 2 more for 14, and then I'll probably have another 10 or so things dropping. So there'll be 24, 26 things running off of this one motor. Okay, good luck.